Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Not Your Average Co podcast. I'm your host, Hanna, and today I have a very special group of women with me. I have the host of this podcast. We have Eva Shanavsky.
Hello, what a great season one.
Yes, very exciting. We have Sam Sauter.
Hi, everyone.
And we have a special guest with us today that has not been seen before just yet, but will be coming in season 2, our other host, Anjelica Jones.
Hello, so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. Are you nervous at all? Are you excited?
I'm good, I'm ready.
Let's do it then.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, we're going to jump in and talk a little bit more about the podcast, recap season 1, and just kind of dive a little deeper.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Good morning, sunshine.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's get the show on the road.
So, what are some things that you guys learned in season 1 and that could be pieces of advice for me as I go into host my next podcast episode?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That's a very good question.
That is.
Make sure to, first of all, breathe. Sometimes it's a little intimidating having someone who's also just as nervous as you, like
Right.
coming and sitting next to you to be on the podcast. Whereas, like, we're on the podcast pretty much every time we're filmed, and so they're only on it this one time.
Right.
And so they want to make sure they hit all their points and they say everything correctly, and they want to make sure they get everything into that one episode. And so just talking them through it and being comfortable, making sure that, you know, you're grounded so that they feel more grounded for sure.
Nice. Yeah, totally.
I would say, so obviously this is a podcast, so we have to control what we say. But on top of that, we're taking video, so controlling what your face is
Yes.
doing
Right.
is very important.
That's true.
I would agree with Eva. Being aware of your facial expressions. I don't know if any of you have seen the memes of David from Schitt's Creek, but like I feel like that's me most times,
Yeah.
and I really need to work on that personally. But like when you're on the podcast, being aware of your facial expressions and just being aware of your ick face.
Hey, David.
My parents always told me growing up, they would remind me of being like, make sure you have your morning news face on, because morning news anchors are so good at just
Yeah.
like smiling and nodding about whoever is like being filmed or interviewed, and so they're just like, yep, and I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Your parents are so much nicer. My mom was always just like, fix your face. Fix your face. And I'm like, oh, sorry, my bad. I didn't notice. That's my fault.
My parents just let me roll.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
But so we're talking about episodes, and I'm thinking of the year in Spotify Wrapped kind of head. What would you guys say was your favorite episode from this year, and what was your biggest takeaway from that episode, and why? My favorite, personally, was the episode I did with Hanna. Not just because I love Hanna, but because we talked about hiring bias and what it was like to be a marketing manager, but also hiring in marketing. And I really loved that because it started a conversation not only within these 4 walls, but outside of them.
Yeah.
And I think it impacted a lot of people in a positive way.
Sam, that's a great point. I think that if you haven't tuned into that episode, you know, a New Year's coming, everyone, you know, kind of puts in their New Year's resolution. So if you're looking for a new job, that's a great episode to tune into. If you want to hear from a manager's perspective, kind of what they're looking for, Sam gives great advice on it. You get my look from it from, you know, an employee standpoint. So Sam's able to answer those questions, you know, live and in person. So great episode to tune into for the new year. But my favorite episode was probably the one with Dominique that we just did.
Such a good one.
So if you haven't listened to that one either, go listen to that one. It's our newest episode that's out right now. So that episode with Dominique was my favorite because we talked about Connect. I love the Connect interns. I love the program. I think that starting that initiative by Chris and Melissa was such a great initiative to do. You know, Dominique goes in to talk about the competition that they competed in, and it's just so interesting, and the opportunities that we've allowed for kids in college who are looking for an opportunity in technology. It's a hard, you know, industry to break through and to get like actual on-site physical training in a corporate setting. And so the internship program is just so special, and I think it's worth sharing with everyone and worth learning about. And so if you're looking for an internship program, reach out.
And I will say that our internship program, we just don't make you run and get coffee.
Yeah.
We actually give you projects that contribute to the company, and you feel a sense of gratification and a sense of accomplishment too. And I think that is what is so incredible about the internship program and what Dominique's doing with it. And we get some of those interns, and it's just so amazing to work with people, giving them the experience, giving them the tips and the tricks that you wish someone would have given you. And I think that's what this podcast is too, the tips and tricks of life and the industry.
I loved sitting in and watching Dominique's episode. She's so full of life and genuine, and that totally comes across in everything that she does, whether it's being a director here for the interns or just being a human and being a friendly face in the office. And so I got to sit behind the scenes and kind of learn the ropes of this podcast. But as a listener on the outside, I loved Rachel's podcast. She just is such an important role in CSI. She is the health and wellness director and just prioritizes that here, and the company does as a whole. And so it was just awesome to hear about all the opportunities that come from CSI and our health and just everything as a company that they're doing to better each employee, which is just incredible.
And something to add on about Rachel's episode is she talked about, not only just health and wellness of like, when people hear that, they think about just working out. And it's not about that. And it's not about just eating healthy. It's about like what goes on up here in your head and, being in a good mindset and being a good employee mentally and being in a place where you can always, be happy, and what are the steps you need to take to get there, and what are the signs that you need to look out for if you aren't happy. And so, she touches on that a little bit in the podcast, and so it's just so important to know that like she does so much here, and she's so impactful, and she's so important, and she's so special, and lovely to talk to.
Oh, we love her.
Yes, and so, her episode was really eye-opening to me, too. Just not knowing her day-to-day and then listening to it, it's kind of crazy.
Sam, I like that you said that we just throw the interns right into the work and the fun. And that reminds me of, I got to interview the coding and clinical integrity experts on one episode. And it was actually one of their first weeks. It was Marilee's first week working at CSI. And that was so funny. We threw her in, come on a podcast. That's how we do things here.
You do get thrown right in here.
Because Eva, that was
it's
your
so
first
fun.
podcast too, correct?
And I thought that's just how we learn here. You make mistakes, you learn from them, and you do better.
Yeah, that was our first podcast episode. That was it? Yeah. Besides your intro.
Yes, that was the first real.
Yeah, with our guests and everything like that. That was that. It was your first, podcast ever. Marilee's first week.
We had a lot of firsts on
That was crazy.
We had a lot of firsts.
Yes.
So that kind of brings me to, what is the one thing you guys are most excited for season 2?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
Because Sam said we're going big.
Yes.
Sam, what's going
Go
big?
big or go home.
Yes. I'm excited for, obviously, to bring healthcare IT more to the podcast. And we're going to have our division president on it and a lot of our professional services team, and just give you an inside look on what EHR implementation is and how the healthcare IT industry is just totally evolving and how it affects us personally as just patients too. And so everyone is a patient, and that was something like I've learned here, just a different way to look at everything that you go do to get healthcare.
Yeah, and that's something our healthcare IT division president, Alyssa Tillery, says all the time, is that, she never, it was kind of the same thing. She didn't realize, but yeah, it's true. Like, we all are patients. And so learning about patient care and learning how the hospitals take care of you and everything like that is really important, because you're one of them. No, whether you think you are or not, or whether you realize it or not, you are.
Absolutely.
But to add on to that, I think I'm most excited for the guests and the people that we're going to meet. I love interacting with new people, getting their backstory, hearing all of their stories, all these people that we're bringing on, they're so smart. And so just sitting in a room, I could just listen to them talk, you know, and don't even have to ask them anything. They can just talk and talk and talk. And you just you feel like you're absorbing so much information, and it's just so interesting. So I think the guests are what I'm really, really excited for.
Yes, me too.
I'm excited for everyone to come along with us as we evolve our brand and becoming this healthcare solutions company and really focusing there and making an impact in the healthcare industry. I started out in college in healthcare, and I, went down a few mountains, climbed a few up, went down a few, and then ended up in design, and here I am working for a healthcare solutions company. But I'm most excited for everyone to come along our brand's journey. And listen to our executive team and where they see the brand moving and going and how we're going to get there. And I'm so excited for them to come on. But, it's not just us sitting in this room, but it's you guys too that are coming along and listening and hopefully sharing the podcast.
Yes.
I'm staring you down right now.
So Sam, was that a clue? Are we going to have some execs on our next season?
I think so.
Possibly. And boy, do they bring the fun.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So be ready for that energy because it's next level.
It is. That is very true.
But what is your total vision of this podcast?
I think the total vision is to just be to your point, a trusted resource. Be that friend that you go to when you need help or have a question. To have people on here that you have questions for, that are the subject matter experts in the room, that you don't have to read an article to find out more. You have someone to reach out to be like, hey, Eva, I'd love to hear more about revenue cycle management. What is your company doing with that? How can I become a risk coder adjuster?
Yeah. I will find the expert that can answer that.
Yeah.
For you.
We have the people here to help you.
Yeah.
And we're not just a B2B company, we're a B2C company. And B2B, for those that don't know, business to business, B2C, business to customer. Little marketing knowledge there. But
Pow.
but I think that CSI, when you work with us or you work with us, for us, whatever it may be, we are 1,000% all in. We are all in. We will help you get to your goal. We are driven. We are talented. We will, if we don't know the answer, we're going to figure it out.
Yep.
That is the CSI way. I think CSI is a place where you can feel accepted no matter your background or your expertise. I believe this leadership team has a vision that is stellar, and I am excited to have them come on and talk to you as well. They have a big personality, and they have big visions, and they have great insight into the healthcare industry. And just listening to them will change your perspective on a lot, but it will also give you a clear focus on what CSI is doing. No, we're not crime scene investigators, but we do try to change the world each day in healthcare, and I think that's the most amazing part, is that everyone in this room here is doing that. But that is the vision, just to spread the brand awareness, bring people the answers they're asking for, and to share industry insights in a digestible, easy to understand way that isn't monotonous or boring, but breathes life into
Making
it.
healthcare fun.
Making healthcare fun. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
All right, ladies. Well, I actually want to throw you all a little curveball. This is not on our script or anything. It's a little fun question. We've done it at the end of almost every episode of season 1, and I kind of wanted to throw it in here. Anjelica, you made a statement that, we have so many ways to digest information nowadays. So I've seen this question on probably TikTok, of course.
Most likely.
But what is something that we have now that would absolutely make someone from like the 1800s just croak over?
Literally anything, like an iPhone. I think like even the maps on an iPhone, I think is crazy. Like just being able to see exactly where you are on that blue dot.
Yeah.
I remember when it first came out, and like I'm probably like way overestimating this, but like 2011 maybe.
Yeah.
And I was in New York City, and I was like, it knows where I am. Like, it made our whole trip so much easier of just being like, we know where we are, we know what's around us. Like, that's crazy. And so I think that's crazy.
Yeah, my mom definitely had like the MapQuest papers when, to go to soccer tournaments when I was little, and she'd be like, okay, I was like 8, and she'd be like, okay, Hannah, where am I going?
Exactly.
And I'm like, I don't know.
I'm like, oh, your exit was 10 miles ago. Sorry.
She's having to watch her whatever. It's not a speedometer, but whatever like turns the miles. I feel so ignorant when it comes to cars sometimes, but like it's the thing that like tells you how many miles your car has on it.
Right.
Your mileage.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I love the question you asked, Hannah, and I love your answer, Anjelica. And low key, this is my Roman Empire.
Oh.
I think about this all the time.
Yep.
I think rap music when I think of this.
You think?
I think rap music.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
some 50 Cent or Jay-Z, blown away.
Just
like
in
I
a
just,
coma.
yeah. Like I honestly think that.
I could agree with that.
So I'll answer this question. I would say copy AI.
Ooh.
Because even right now, I'm like, all these people in school, it's not fair. Like, it can totally outline their essays.
That is so true.
So I
Right.
think people way back then would really, like, croak. Like, all those, like, famous authors. Yeah.
I
That
don't
is very
even
true.
think that they would be able to grasp the level of technology we have.
Yeah.
And in such a short amount of time that we've been able to develop everything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that puts it into perspective though. So I wanted to ask this question because like we kind of just use it day to day without actually acknowledging the scope of what it all is. So acknowledging the scope of technology. Like there's things out there that we don't even know about.
Right.
And like, you know, robots being in your daily life. I mean, I know we have like microwaves and things, but like I'm talking like my friend just went to a store and this robot made her like a coffee cup made out of chocolate and put milk in it and then gave it to her. And I'm like, what? It's just like it's just so weird. And like I think sometimes we don't actually grasp the scope of everything. And so to bring it all full circle, that is why we are here, and that's what the podcast is for. And you know, that's the conversations we want to have. We want to dive into all of the crazy things that happen day to day that we don't really acknowledge. We kind of just like after 2020, everything that happens, it's just like, oh, it happened, whatever, you know? But, you know, actually acknowledging and understanding, like, what is out there, healthcare-wise. Healthcare is evolving every single day.
Right.
And technology, same thing. Everything is just constantly just growing and growing. And as quickly as it grows into day and age, is just baffling.
Absolutely.
And so being able to talk to those experts is just really eye-opening, and I think that's what is the most exciting thing coming for the vision of our podcast. And season 2 is just going to dive even deeper into it.
Right.
And so that's what I wanted to ask the question. That's why I wanted
That was
to
a
say
good
it.
one.
Great question.
Thank
I
you.
think healthcare would be something they just completely croak over.
Yeah.
And someone
But
comes in
they-
with CPR paddles.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But they could actually live longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
what a
would be
dentist
baffled at
is.
how long people live nowadays.
Yeah.
That's
That's a
crazy.
good one.
But with that being said, that is the end of our season 1 and this episode. Ladies, it has been such a joy to talking to you and to close out this season. Make sure to keep tuning in to see why CSI is not your average co. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Follow us on all of our social platforms at CSI Companies. And everyone, we will see you in season 2.
Bye.
Bye.